I don't even know how many forums we've done, like a ton of forums. So we all kind of know each other well and can answer things. I was really excited to see this question, and they told us in advance. We didn't know the other questions, but they told us in advance that this question was coming, and so it gave us some time to really think about it. I've got enough time, and I talk fast enough. I'm going to cover two things. One, so I got in the legislature when I was 22. I was really young. I came straight out of college, and the first term I was there, on the second half, the second session I was in, was the first time a vote for gay marriage came through. Actually, they were voting on the constitutional amendment to define marriage as one man and one woman. The party and everybody in the party came to me. I was a 23-year-old in a rural Kansas district. They came to me and they said, "We don't care what you do on this, you're going to vote for it." Well, they said, "We don't care how you feel about it, you have to vote for this. This is political suicide. It's over for you if you don't do this." And so the first time it came through, I, like a bunch of other people, I voted for it, and I left there and I was just sick to my stomach. I was like, that just doesn't feel right to me. But I was young. It was very early in my legislative career, and I didn't know any better, and so I did what the party told me to do. So anyway, it went to the Senate. It died in the Senate. They broke for April recess, and a lot of people got pressure at home because the Senate had killed it. So they came back, and the Senate brought it back up and passed it. And so it came back to the House one more time, and if it passed the House, it was going to go to the vote of the people. And I can remember something changed, and 9 of us sat down in a room, and we said, you know what? If we flip our votes on this, they're all expecting us to vote yes. If we flip our votes on this, we can kill this thing. And it was Bill Kassebaum, Nancy Landon Kassebaum's son. He and I came in to serve together at the same time. Cindy Neighbor was in that group. A lot of great people were in that group. A lot of us were freshmen. So we came in that day. No one was expecting it. We flipped our votes, killed it. And of the nine of us that flipped, I was the only one that came back. It was almost political suicide. 8 other people lost their seats. But I learned a huge lesson then, and that was really the beginning of me being able to articulate to my home district areas that I thought sometimes you got to push harder. You have to push harder on these. And so that was a huge lesson for me in sticking to what your gut says is right. I should have done it from the very first time, but at least I was there to be able to stop at that time. Unfortunately, after those other 8 lost, we came back in 2005. We fought it again and got steamrolled on it. But we made our case, and it was the proudest vote that I've taken. And I was so proud then in 2012 to end up marrying my sisters-in-law, something I could not have anticipated even having back in 2004, and so it's become a high point of my career. The only other thing I would tell, in honestly saying what you could wish saying to your 25 or younger degree self. I just lost my last grandfather earlier this year, but I lost my other one when I was 17 years old. He was 91. He lived a nice long life. But boy, he grew up hard. He didn't even put a crop in 1936 as a farmer because it was so dry. He used to take his winters and go to Chicago and cut hair and pull teeth out of cadavers to make enough money to farm during the Depression. I talked to them a lot, but it's never enough. It's never enough when you're spending time with that kind of institutional memory and learning. And I learned over the years to ask more questions of the people that are eventually not going to be around you. But the advice I always give young people, and unfortunately I'm looking at Gary because he's the one right in front of me, but spend time asking those questions of the people that have lived longer than you have. I was lucky enough to know someone in my town that lived to be 109. Her dad came out and fought out of Fort Wallace on the frontier in the 1860s and 70s and was our first fish commissioner. And I'll never get those opportunities back, but I cherish them each and every day.